Hi, my name is Nomi Prins, and I want to bring your attention to these two blinking lights because they're here to demonstrate why 5 of the richest billionaires in the world are betting against Elon Musk and investing in a tiny $4 company that could derail Tesla's plans for the future and transform the entire world around us. Okay, here we go. On this side is what Elon Musk is betting Tesla's future on. It powers every single Tesla electric vehicle. It transformed Tesla from the laughingstock of the auto industry into the biggest car company in history. And as I'll show you later, Musk believes it will soon power not just cars, but homes, businesses, all your electronic devices, everything, and turn Tesla into the biggest company the world has ever seen. It's a lithium-ion battery. And as you can see, it's powering this blinking light. But 5 billionaires are betting Elon Musk is wrong. Look over here. As you can see, the liquid in these cups is also powering a blinking light. Well, billionaires Bill Gates, Jack Ma, Michael Bloomberg, Richard Branson, and Jeff Bezos are betting that this liquid is the battery of the future. And here's why. Not tasty, but as you can see, unlike what's inside a Tesla battery, this liquid is completely non-toxic. There's no lithium, no cobalt, no nickel. None of the exotic battery materials that are toxic and also extremely expensive. For example, lithium and Tesla batteries cost about $150 a pound, but this liquid costs just 5 cents a pound. And that's why these 5 billionaires are betting on this liquid. It's just simple economics. When you factor everything in, this liquid can store energy up to 94% cheaper than a Tesla lithium-ion battery. And watch this. All it takes is regular tap water mixed with the contents of what's in here. It's like a science project. And as you can see, this has nothing to do with hydrogen, wind, solar, biomass, geothermal, or tidal power. And of course, it also doesn't involve oil, coal, or any other fossil fuel. It's 100% environmentally friendly, and it's safe. In fact, unlike Tesla batteries that are notorious for sometimes bursting into flames, this liquid is so safe, you could use it to extinguish a burning Tesla. Check it out. Non-toxic, environmentally friendly, and stores energy up to 94% cheaper than a Tesla lithium-ion battery. That's like Tesla's worst nightmare. I call it liquid energy. And this breakthrough is promising to change everything about battery technology. And by the way, those are not my words. The U.S. Department of Energy calls it a breakthrough. That's a totally new approach to battery technology. Powermag calls it part of the trillion-dollar holy grail of battery technology that Bloomberg says could eat lithium's lunch. Think about that. The lithium-ion battery is the foundation of Elon Musk's empire. It took Tesla from nothing to a $1 trillion market cap. And yet this tiny $4 company has a battery that can store energy up to 94% cheaper than a Tesla battery. Today I'm going to show you how this breakthrough could deliver maximum profits to investors in a new energy revolution that is just getting started. And let me be clear, this is not about electric vehicles. You see, we are on the precipice of what one energy official told the Wall Street Journal is a historic period of transformation. It's a global shift in how the world creates, consumes, and uses energy everywhere, in our cars, in our homes, and in all of our electronic devices. The way we use energy is changing, and it's happening now, and it's moving really fast. So fast. McKinsey research says it could compress a century of work into less than a decade. It's a huge amount of work, and it demands an equally huge investment. In fact, the President of the United States calls this energy revolution part of the biggest investment in history. Love him or hate him, and actually whatever your personal feelings are about the President, you need to put them aside right now. Because most Americans don't realize yet the huge financial stakes that are involved in this $130 trillion energy revolution. And most of them are going to miss what comes next. But please make no mistake, the world's richest people, they fully understand what's coming next. And they are taking full advantage of the situation because it's all about the money. I have already shown you how Elon Musk is involved and how Bill Gates, Jack Ma, Richard Branson, and Jeff Bezos are backing one tiny company behind liquid energy. But that's just the beginning. Major corporations are getting involved too. Google spent $3.5 billion on this energy revolution already. Apple's gone bigger. It's investing $4.7 billion, calling it good business. And even though this has absolutely nothing to do with fossil fuel, ExxonMobil has gone even bigger with a $15 billion investment. That's crazy when you think about it. They're the second biggest energy company in the world. And even they are seeing the writing on the wall and they're hedging their future. Which is why the world's fourth largest asset manager, State Street Global Advisors, is calling it a paradigm shift in how everyone invests. Because everyone is pouring money into this. For example, Goldman Sachs announced a $150 billion investment in this trend. Citigroup and Morgan Stanley, they're going even bigger. They're in it for $1 trillion each. And not to be outdone, JP Morgan is investing $2.5 trillion in this trend. I could keep going, but let me make the point really clear. According to Forbes, a whopping $130 trillion has been committed to this entire energy shift. That is a staggering amount. But most Americans still don't know what the shift is really about. And that's why I'm here today, because I want everyone to know what's really going on before it's too late to get in. Because it's just getting started. You see, money flowing into this energy revolution hit an all-time high of $755 billion this year. But like I just said, it's expected to surge to $130 trillion. That's a 17,118% increase. Let me repeat that. Investments in this energy revolution are projected to surge 17,118%, from $755 billion into $130 trillion. To put that into perspective, here's a list of the current market sizes of the hottest tech trends versus the projected investment into this energy revolution. AI, $387.45 billion. Electric cars, $411 billion. Internet of Things, $158 billion. 5G, $64 billion. Blockchain, $4.9 billion. Robotics, $41.7 billion. The metaverse, $38.85 billion. But the energy revolution, $130 trillion. So as you can see, it's huge. Specifically, it's 117 times bigger than the current market sizes of the hottest tech trends combined. And while these tech trends have made people a lot of money, it's just a drop in the bucket compared to what's coming next. And it makes sense this is bigger when you think about it. I mean, all these tech trends, they use a lot of energy. Again, this is not just about EVs. But for example, over the next dozen years, the amount of energy required to power EVs is projected to rise by 2,186%. And if you think that's big, mobile phone giant Ericsson predicts almost half the world will be using 5G phones by 2027. That is 4.4 billion new phones. But get this, the extra speed of 5G phones means they use up to 4 times more power than a 4G phone. Imagine the energy increase when billions of these power-hungry 5G phones start rolling out worldwide. And that's why the demand for energy is growing like crazy. And all of these technologies of the future, they're supposed to run on this, the lithium-ion battery. There's just no way that's possible. I mean, I can't even keep my phone alive all day without recharging it. And that's why investment in this energy revolution is reaching a fever pitch right now. And I predict this transition is going to create more new millionaires than at any time in history. Yes, even in this crazy market. Think of it this way. Microsoft created more than 12,000 millionaires since it went public. And CBS News reported Bitcoin created as many as 100,000 millionaires. At the peak of its value, Bitcoin had a market cap just over $1.2 trillion. But we here right now are talking about a projected $130 trillion in investment. That's 100 times bigger than Bitcoin at its peak. After all, we are talking about something every man, woman, and child on the planet actually uses: energy. So imagine how many new millionaires it could create. 100,000 millionaires? A million millionaires? 100 million new millionaires? Look, 130 trillion, that's a lot of money to go around. Which is why over my 20-year career, I have never been so convinced of an investment's potential like I am about liquid energy. Of course, nothing's guaranteed in life. Plus, there is a whole lot of volatility in the world right now. But with inflation roaring out of control and prices soaring in food, fuel, housing, everything, and more Americans are being pushed to the brink of poverty, there's one thing we can all agree on. We need more clean, abundant, and cheaper energy. And while everyone knows about Tesla, I mean, Elon Musk is a master at getting media attention. Let's face it, he's in the headlines every single day. You can't make money by betting on the past. And as you'll see in a moment, the future belongs to liquid energy. If this company grows to just a fraction of Tesla's size, the wealth you gain could be substantial. It's the equivalent to turning back the clock and investing alongside Bill Gates in his first venture, when he started Microsoft at the beginning of the computer craze back in the 80s, or Bezos at Amazon during the internet boom of the 90s, or even Tesla at the dawn of the electric car era in the 2000s. And to put that into perspective, Elon Musk built the first Tesla factory dedicated to building lithium-ion batteries in 2014. It's called a gigafactory. It's in the Nevada desert. And today, this massive factory makes more batteries than anywhere else in the world. And when it's fully built out, it's going to be 3 times bigger. Since then, he's built gigafactories in Buffalo, New York, Shanghai, China, Berlin, Germany, and Austin, Texas. In fact, I recently visited the gigafactory in Texas. Here's a clip. Austin's also home to his state-of-the-art, energy-optimized $1.1 billion gigafactory behind me. It is the size of 15 city blocks. When Musk started building these factories, Tesla traded for $43 a share. Since then, it soared as high as $1,222. That's a 2,836% gain in 7 years. But remember, right now, the tiny company behind liquid energy trades for just $4. And my research shows a tiny stake in it now could hand you huge returns as this $130 trillion energy transition unfolds. But you must act now, because a massive catalyst that's already underway could light a fire under its share price. And incredibly, no matter how you feel about him, you can thank President Biden, because it's all thanks to the infrastructure bill and how it amounts to presidential payback against the world's richest man. I'll get into those details later, but it's no secret. The two just don't like each other. Elon Musk opposed Biden's infrastructure bill from the start, saying, just can this whole bill. He even once called Biden a damp sock puppet. But Elon's beef with Biden is coming back to bite him. That's bad news for Elon, but it could be great for the tiny company behind liquid energy. I'll explain that later too. So stay tuned. You'll get all the details on why liquid energy is destined to eat Tesla's lunch, what it is exactly, and why it's the champion of the $130 trillion energy transition. But first, let me fully introduce myself. Again, my name is Nomi Prins. I hold a PhD in international political economy. In other words, how politics influences the markets. I used these skills on Wall Street, where I made my employers at JP Chase, Bear Stearns, and Goldman Sachs pretty rich. And I was well compensated for it. Before I left Wall Street, I was making over $1 million a year. But I got sick of watching them take advantage of the little guy over and over again. So 20 years ago, I quit. Since then, I've written 7 books, and I've made appearances on Fox Business, CNBC, Bloomberg, PBS, and C-SPAN about what I learned on Wall Street, all to expose Wall Street's biggest unfair advantage to Main Street Americans, what I now call the Great Distortion. It's how Wall Street insiders take advantage of the massive amount of money that central banks injected into the stock market. You see, ever since Richard Nixon cut the dollar's ties to gold in 1971, the U.S. Fed has been fabricating money like crazy. This chart from the Reserve Bank of St. Louis shows the money supply is 34 times bigger today than what it was in 1971. So if you've ever wondered how Wall Street execs get multi-million-dollar bonuses, this chart explains it. Instead of trickling down to Main Street Americans, a lot of that money ends up in the stock market and enriching Wall Street's coffers. All this money distorts how the economy should work and makes those at the top rich at the expense of everybody else. That's why I call it the Great Distortion. I have made it my life's mission to expose the Great Distortion, and more importantly, to help my readers have the chance to go richer because of it and not poorer. Now, this $130 trillion commitment to renewable energy is just the latest chapter in the Great Distortion. And I've already shown my readers how to make money because of it through my various research services, like up to a 53% gain on energy transition company Fluor, and up to 31% on electric infrastructure company ABB. But that just scratches the surface. This massive excess of government money has propped up the stock market for years. And this market distortion has helped me close out big winners in almost every sector, including 140% on Walgreens and 293% on BJ's in the retail sector, 181% on Boeing, and 392% on Wynn Resorts in the travel sector, 200% on Wayfair, and 109% on PayPal in the online shopping sector, 112% on HSBC in the banking sector, 81% on Algernon Pharmaceuticals and Health, 172% in social media company Twitter, and in the technology sector, 77% on Cisco and 468% on Microchip Technology. In the interest of full disclosure, these were all option trades. And I could list hundreds more winners like this, but I think what's coming next could be even bigger. And let me assure you, it has nothing to do with options. All you need is a 3-letter ticker that you can buy through your normal brokerage account. And if you get in now, before this $130 trillion energy transition distorts flows into the market, distorting them even further, I believe the tiny company behind Liquid Energy could be the best recommendation I ever make. To explain why, we need to back up a little. And we need to discuss why Elon Musk built all those gigafactories in the first place. Remember, he's built them in Nevada, New York, China, Germany, and Austin, Texas, with more on the way. I visited the Austin Gigafactory, and it's a marvel of sleek engineering. And as you can imagine, these massive factories aren't cheap. Giga Nevada cost $2.4 billion. Giga Buffalo cost almost $1 billion. And Giga Shanghai is going to cost an estimated $5 billion. So it's costing him a fortune. Why is Musk spending all this money? Well, the answer is in transcripts from an internal Tesla meeting that recently went public. They reveal Musk is betting these giant gigafactories will generate hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue for Tesla every single year. But get this, it's not by selling more electric vehicles. You see, Musk's plan to roll out a newer product that sells for 10 times the price of an average Tesla vehicle is what's at stake. It's a drastic move that will change Tesla's entire model. And it's why Elon Musk believes Tesla could become the biggest company the world has ever seen. I'll explain exactly what's going on in a moment, and then I'm going to show you how liquid energy works. Because remember, billionaires Bill Gates, Jack Ma, Richard Branson, Michael Bloomberg, and Jeff Bezos are betting this $4 company could derail Elon Musk's plans. And with hundreds of billions of dollars up for grabs every single year, if these billionaires are right, the share price of this tiny company could skyrocket. We'll circle back to that later. But first, let's just take a closer look at Elon Musk's new master plan. Now, most people think Tesla is an electric car company, and for good reason. It was the first car manufacturer to surpass $1 trillion market cap by value. And that made it bigger than BMW, Daimler, and Volkswagen combined. It also made early investors extremely rich. But while that may have been true in the past, that's not what Musk has planned for Tesla going forward. You see, over the years, Musk has published what he calls master plans for Tesla's future. He's published 2 so far. The first came out on August 2nd, 2006, and then the second came out 10 years later in 2016. And those 2 plans laid out his ideas for building electric cars, the Roadster, the Model S, the Model 3, etc. That's old news. And in March 2022, Musk announced he will soon publish a third master plan. And surprisingly, Master Plan Part 3 is not about electric vehicles. It's about Tesla's other business, this. Now, it may not look as fancy as a $100,000 Model S, but Tesla sells this huge box for $1 million. That's 10 times more money. And that's the discounted price. This thing costs $1 million only if you commit to buying 10 of them. If you only buy one, you're going to have to pay $1,235,000. That is almost $250,000 more. Who knew Tesla was in the bulk discount business, right? Okay, I'm joking about that, of course. But because despite the high price tag, incredibly, Tesla says demand for these remains significantly above production capacity. In other words, even at $1 million a pop, these things are selling like crazy. That's why this is the centerpiece of Musk's new master plan. He wants to capitalize on this insatiable demand. So what's in that huge box? Lithium-ion batteries, thousands of them, enough to power a small town for an entire day. It's a mega battery, and it's fittingly called a mega pack. And it's the centerpiece of Tesla's other business, the energy storage business. It's the bigger brother of this, the Powerwall. That relatively smaller battery is for residential use, so that homeowners can store energy produced by solar panels for use at night when the sun isn't shining. The mega pack is the same concept, just a whole lot bigger. And like I said, demand is so high for these batteries, Tesla can't keep up, which is why Musk wants to increase production by 10x as soon as possible. Now, most people think Tesla is just an electric car company, like I said, but Musk wants to transform it into something bigger. And that's the hidden reason that Tesla is furiously building all those gigafactories, to pump out these huge batteries that sell for 10 times the cost of a Tesla electric car. But that begs the question, why? Why is there so much demand for these huge batteries? Why are they worth $1 million a pop, and who's buying them? And why do 5 billionaires think liquid energy can rival what Elon's building and send the stock price of one tiny $4 company soaring? And that all circles us back to the $130 trillion energy transition that I told you about earlier, and how it's the latest chapter in the Great Distortion. As you've probably guessed by now, I'm talking about the transition from fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas to renewable sources like hydro, geothermal, solar, and wind power. Now, just to be clear, that is not to say these other fuels are going away anytime soon, or that we don't need them. Personally, I believe we're going to be using fossil fuels for the rest of my life. But this isn't about my personal beliefs. This is about how massive injections of capital distort the market and how you can potentially profit from that. $130 trillion is a lot of money. And as I showed you earlier, it's set to go parabolic in the next few years. It's a transition that's been going on for years, but there's always been one problem. Renewables can't deliver energy on demand. Think about it. Energy from fossil fuels is always on demand. Take gasoline, for example. Just add fire and boom, instant energy. But that's not the case with renewables. If the sun isn't shining, you can't get energy on demand from your solar panels. And if the wind's not blowing, wind turbines can't deliver energy on demand either. To make matters worse, without a way to store energy, we can't even use all the energy that renewables supply us with. For example, one of the biggest solar power farms in the world, the Topaz Solar Farm in California, can produce 1,282 gigawatt hours of energy a year. Well, if you wanted to store just 10% of this energy, you would need over 42,000 megapacks. And that's the simple reason that megapacks are selling like crazy. These batteries are required to make the transition from fossil fuels to 100% renewable energy. In short, renewable energy is impossible without massive batteries that can, 1, hook up to the grid, 2, store excess energy created by renewable sources, and 3, pump it back in later when we want to use it. It may be the single biggest limitation holding back the $130 trillion energy transition, which is why Musk says that the growth rate of energy storage is, quote, probably several times that of what the car business is per year, and that it could be 50% of Tesla's business. That's a crazy amount of growth. And to put that into perspective, Tesla made $53.8 billion in revenue in 2021 alone. Most of that was from electric cars. But remember, Tesla has another business, the energy storage business that manufactures the Megapack. That part of the business made just $2.8 billion, which is about 5% of Tesla's total revenue. In other words, if sales picked up to the revenue generated by Tesla electric vehicles, the electric storage division would grow by 1,921%. That is breathtaking growth. It would add tens of billions of dollars and over a longer time frame, perhaps hundreds of billions of dollars to Tesla's coffers every single year. That's how big the opportunity this massive battery, the Megapack, represents. To quickly recap, Musk is spending billions of dollars building all of these gigafactories now so that he can ramp up production of these massive batteries, the Powerwall and the even bigger Megapack, to meet the nearly insatiable demand for more energy storage. Demand that Bloomberg predicts will grow 122 times in the coming years. And that's all part of Musk's Master Plan 3. So, are you starting to see why Elon is restructuring Tesla's entire business and transforming Tesla from just an electric car company to an electric storage company? He believes it will increase revenue by hundreds of billions of dollars every single year and turn Tesla into the biggest company the world has ever seen. In fact, that's why he called these factories gigafactories and not electric car factories, because he wants to build enough batteries to power the entire world. And that would be a historic achievement. But again, everything Musk is betting on relies on this, the lithium-ion battery, which is kind of weird when you think about it. I mean, the technology behind this battery was actually invented in 1976, which is almost 50 years ago. Back then, almost nobody had computers. Cell phones cost the equivalent of $9,000 in today's dollars, and the internet wouldn't be invented for another 7 years. In other words, compared to now, 1976 is practically the Stone Age. And sure, lithium-ion batteries have gotten better. But even after half a century of innovation, pound for pound, oil still delivers 100 times more energy. And it can store that energy forever. And yet Musk is betting Tesla's future on this, the lithium-ion battery. So again, I ask you, isn't that kind of strange? And that's the real reason why 5 of the world's richest men are betting against Elon Musk and investing in one tiny $4 company behind liquid energy. Because little lithium-ion batteries like these, they're fine for running your TV remote or powering a flashing light and even powering an electric car. But when it comes to energy storage on a massive scale, when you're talking about dealing with huge amounts of stationary power, like what we need to run a home, a city, or even an entire state, liquid energy is superior to the lithium-ion battery in every way. I'm going to show you why in a moment, but first, a quick warning. When I show you how liquid energy works, you're going to have one of 2 reactions. You're either going to, 1, shake your head and say, that's never going to work, and ignore this opportunity completely, or 2, you're going to get so excited like I am that you're going to want to invest every penny you own. But please don't do either, because you should never bet the farm on any one investment, because all investments carry risk and past performance is no guarantee of future results. Besides, because we're talking about a 17,118% growth surge in clean energy investments, and if you buy in early on this wave and ride this $130 trillion transition all the way to the top, you have the potential to become wildly rich no matter how little you invest. You don't need a lot of money for the chance to make that happen. You only need to understand this chart. This graphic shows how new technologies are adopted, first by innovators, then by early adopters, and finally by the masses. When it comes to energy storage, Elon Musk is the innovator. He paved the way with the Powerwall and the Megapack. And now we're right here on the cusp of mass adoption. That's why Seeking Alpha wrote, energy storage is now booming as the world moves faster to renewable energy. The article went on to say, energy storage adoption is already rapidly accelerating in the USA at 182% quarter over quarter. Bloomberg forecasts a 122 times increase in global energy storage from 2018 to 2040, and that utility scale energy storage will be the dominant sector. This means utility energy storage is the area of the greatest growth potential. Let me reiterate, 182% quarter-over-quarter growth, 122 times increase in global energy storage, the area of greatest growth potential, and that's all happening now. And that last point is really important because it's during this transition to mass adoption that you can see the biggest investment gains. One CNBC commentator put it bluntly by saying, you can follow the money. All the investors are smelling it. Yes, even in this crazy market. In fact, just in 2022, during the worst stock market meltdown in modern history, companies involved in the growing energy storage sector are thriving. As of this recording, the S&P 500 has suffered a brutal loss this year. It's down as much as 23% this year. But look at the world's biggest lithium producer, SQM. Shares are up over 122% this year alone. Or look at another lithium miner, Sigma Lithium. They're up 74% this year. Then there's Allegheny Technologies. They make many of the rare earth metals that are used in high-end batteries, and they're up 73% this year. Or look at a company called Daqo New Energy Corp. They make silicon powder used to make solar panels, and they're up 83% this year. Or look at what's happening with copper miners. A typical EV battery requires about 44 pounds of copper. And with demand for batteries soaring, Philo mining is up 117% this year, and Turquoise Hills is up 88%. They're thriving. These are some of the best returns this year. And of course, I'm not guaranteeing they're going to continue to perform like this going forward. But that's crazy, right? I mean, on an average year, the market goes up about 16%. But this isn't an average year. Almost the entire market is awash in a sea of red this year. It has been absolutely brutal. But these examples I gave you, they didn't just survive the carnage. They deliver 2 times, 3 times, almost 5 times what the market would return in a good year, in what's shaping up to be the worst stock market year in history. And that's why there's no time to waste. If you're watching your portfolio crumble and you're wondering when the bleeding's going to stop, or if you pulled your money out of the market and are letting inflation chip it away, almost any option you choose right now, your wealth is being destroyed day by day. Which is why I've put all of the details of this tiny $4 company in a new report called Liquid Energy, the #1 stock for the $130 trillion energy revolution. I'll show you how to get that report in a moment, but first let me show you how liquid energy works. Why it's not just safer and cheaper than Tesla's lithium-ion battery, but better for long-term energy storage, and why it's happening right now. So I call it liquid energy because it starts with a simple change to how batteries are made that conquers the single biggest limitation faced by all battery technology. I'm talking about recharge time. Now, as anyone who's ever charged a dead cell phone knows, recharging can take hours. For example, here's the lithium-ion battery from earlier. It's dead, completely dead. If I wanted to recharge it, I'd have to grab a charger, I'd have to plug it into the charger, and then I'd have to wait 3 to 4 hours for it to fully recharge. But compare that to liquid energy. It also has no charge. But watch this. As you can see, by simply pouring in more liquid energy, the light starts blinking again. How cool is that? Instant recharge. Now, of course, I could just throw away a dead lithium-ion battery and get a new one. And that's fine for a cheap little battery like this. But a typical 60 kilowatt-hour battery, like the one you'd find in a Tesla Model 3, that weighs over 400 pounds. And it contains 114 pounds of graphite, 77 pounds of aluminum, 64 pounds of nickel, 44 pounds of copper, 44 pounds of steel, 22 pounds of manganese, 17 pounds of cobalt, 13 pounds of lithium, and 11 pounds of iron. Are you going to pick up a 400-pound battery and plug it into your car? Of course you're not. And even if you were Superman and could lift these heavy batteries, they cost over $13,000. So it's not like most people could afford to just, have a few extra lying around. But like I mentioned earlier, 1 pound of liquid energy sells for just 5 cents. That's why liquid energy is so transformational. and why one tiny $4 company behind it could hold the key to the $130 trillion energy transition. Because instead of a traditional closed battery system, like this lithium-ion battery that takes forever to recharge, the new open battery system, liquid energy, can be recharged instantly. And it's all because of a simple change in how these new batteries are made. You see, in their simplest form, batteries are made up of just a few parts, a positive side and a negative side to transfer the charge. A fluid inside called an electrolyte that holds the charge, and a closed container to hold everything together. Now, when someone says a closed battery like this dies, what they're really saying is that there's no more charge inside the electrolyte fluid. So how do you bring it back to life? Well, you plug it into a charger, and slowly but surely electricity snakes its way through the ends and gets stored inside the electrolyte fluid. And as you know, this takes time. 3 to 4 hours for little batteries like this, and for bigger Tesla EV car batteries, you're talking 8 to 12 hours on a Tesla home charger. But an open battery, like liquid energy, can recharge immediately. And that's because, as the name implies, the battery is open. The electrolyte, the fluid that holds the charge, it can be pumped in and out. When an open battery dies, you simply open a valve in the battery, pump out the dead electrolyte, and pump in new fully charged fluid. Boom. Instant recharge. It's as easy as changing a battery. Except in this case, you're only changing the part of the battery that holds the charge, the electrolyte fluid, not any of the other solid parts. It's a huge money saver too, because just 4% of your typical lithium-ion battery is an electrolyte. And when you think about it that way, don't you think it's crazy that closed batteries are just so prominent? I mean, they're not chargeable forever. A typical lithium-ion battery is good for about 5 years. And recycling rates right now for lithium batteries are abysmal, despite their green reputation. A study funded by the United States Agency for International Development found that less than 1% of lithium-ion batteries are recycled. That means that when these batteries die for good, we just throw out all the expensive heavy materials they're made from. And those materials make up 96% of the cost of the battery. In other words, on a $13,000 Tesla Model 3 battery, it's like you're just throwing $12,480 right into the trash can. The bottom line, liquid energy is a huge money saver. And that's why the United States Department of Energy calls it a breakthrough. That's a totally new approach to battery technology. That Powermag calls it part of the $1 trillion holy grail of battery technology that Bloomberg says it could eat lithium's lunch. Because you remember what I said earlier about solar power? That if you wanted to store just 10% of the energy the Topaz solar farm in California produces in a year, you would need over 42,000 megapacks at a cost of $1 million a pop. That would cost $42 billion. Now, Elon Musk is fully expecting that to happen. Like I showed you, he predicts it will one day make up half of Tesla's business. And that's why he's building all of these gigafactories. But imagine if instead of spending billions of dollars on expensive closed batteries like the Megapack, you can just store cheap electrolytes in simple fluid tanks like this, that for a fraction of the price can instantly recharge open batteries to meet urgent energy demands and create a new energy grid that delivers instant energy just like fossil fuels, but without dirty carbon emissions. It's simple and it's effective, and that is the power of liquid energy. And the benefits don't stop there. Open batteries can be fully discharged without damaging the batteries. And that's not the case with lithium-ion batteries. Open batteries run longer, 10 hours at a time, more than double the 4-hour runtime of a Megapack. And open batteries last longer. They can be recycled, which means to charge and discharge 20,000 times. But you can only cycle a closed battery 2,000 times. That gives open batteries a lifespan of up to 30 years versus as little as 5 years for a lithium-ion battery. But in the interest of full disclosure, liquid energy batteries, they're not better in every way. They cannot deliver a massive amount of energy quickly, and they are a lot heavier. And that's why you can't use them in cars or cell phones. They couldn't accelerate a car fast enough, and they're just too heavy to carry around. But that doesn't matter for grid energy storage, Because the batteries are stationary, weight isn't an issue. So this is a moot point. And besides, they're only heavier because they don't contain all the toxic, flammable, and expensive rare earth metals that go into a lithium-ion battery. You see, to get a lithium-ion battery that is small and lightweight, and yet powerful enough to run a car, that requires a lot of complex engineering. Like I showed you earlier, a typical lithium-ion EV battery contains a slew of rare earth metals. It took almost 50 years of engineering to get to this point. But because open batteries don't need to be small or light, they don't require all that fancy technology. In fact, this may sound unbelievable, but the open battery developed by the $4 company behind Liquid Energy requires just 3 ingredients: lead, water, and the contents in this. They are some of the cheapest and most abundant natural resources on the planet, which is another reason why liquid energy is such a breakthrough. Being able to transform cheap and abundant natural resources into almost unlimited energy, that is the holy grail that we have been waiting for. And that's why Forbes says that this open battery may be the future of utility-scale energy storage. U.S. Congresswoman Diana DeGette said it's the key to unlocking the full potential of solar and wind energy for use around the clock. And U.S. Secretary of Energy Jennifer Granholm tweeted, "They keep the energy flowing more reliably. That's why they're good for grid storage, and that's why we're investing money in them. Cleaner, more efficient energy for all." In fact, open batteries like liquid energy are the front runner in the U.S. Department of Energy's ARPA-E program that's focused specifically on reducing costs by 90% and getting energy storage down to just 5 cents per kilowatt hour. To put that into perspective, after 50 years of innovation, Tesla's lithium-ion battery storage costs are $132 per kilowatt hour. And we consider the sheer amount of money that's being invested in this trend, from $755 billion today to a projected $130 trillion, or a staggering growth of 17,118%. No wonder one CNBC commenter said, "You can follow the money. All the investors are smelling it." And that's why 5 billionaires are betting against Elon Musk. And they're investing in a tiny $4 company that could derail Tesla's plans and dominate the future of energy storage. Liquid energy runs longer, lasts longer, is better for the environment, is cheaper to run, and I truly believe it's the #1 solution for the $130 trillion transition to clean and renewable energy. Which is why I also don't expect this stock to trade for $4 much longer. To get you started, I've put its name, ticker symbol, and full write-up in my brand new report, Liquid Energy, the #1 stock for the $130 trillion energy revolution. And there's really no time to waste here because thanks to President Biden's new infrastructure bill, the government has committed $11 billion into updating the grid for better energy storage in the coming years. And that's $8 billion more than what's being invested in lithium-ion batteries. Considering everything Tesla's done to advance renewable energy, it's kind of like a big slap in the face to Elon Musk. I mean, I went to the Gigafactory in Austin. I stood in front of the buildings that Musk is spending tens of billions of dollars on. It's his dream of powering the whole world with lithium-ion batteries, and it has paid off so far. Like I showed you, Tesla stock is up 2,836% in the 7 years since the first Gigafactory broke ground. But now Tesla's future might not look as bright, and its stock is pretty expensive. But this company behind Liquid Energy is not. So there's just a lot of upside here. And that's why I want to rush this report to anyone who's serious about this opportunity. All that I ask in return is that you try out my monthly research service distortion report at no risk to you. Like I mentioned earlier, central bank money printing has permanently distorted the stock market in what I call the Great Distortion. It's given Wall Street insiders unprecedented wealth and power. The distortion report is where I help level the playing field and give ordinary folks the chance to take profits on the biggest financial trends Wall Street does not want you to know about. Today, I want to give you a chance to take a look at my research for a full 60 days with no strings attached. I will show you how to get started in just a moment, but first, there's another valuable report that I'd like to bring your attention to, and it's called Energy and Income. Right now, you have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to pick up stocks that pay huge dividends at bargain basement prices. And that's all thanks to the most recent collapse in the stock market and to rising interest rates. And incredibly, some of the best dividend-paying companies are also the companies that are delivering the best stock market returns right now. I'm talking about energy companies. Take ExxonMobil as an example. Well, almost everything crashed this year, and ExxonMobil is up as high as 40% this year. And get this, their dividend is almost 4%. But wait a second, ExxonMobil is an oil company. How are they soaring like an eagle when we're supposed to be in this transition to cleaner energy? Well, the answer reveals a secret about this massive $130 trillion energy transition, and it's something the Main Street press is just not talking about. You see, to build all these solar panels, wind farms, grid storage batteries, everything that we need to make the transition to green energy, well, that requires a lot of energy. And right now, that energy, it comes from fossil fuels. And that's why I said earlier that fossil fuels are not going anywhere. And it's why energies like ExxonMobil are taking off. There's a huge demand for traditional fossil fuels to build all of these green technologies. And that's why there's a huge opportunity to invest in them right now. And even if these gains level off, I am so confident that companies like this will be a great place to put your money because this transition is gonna take years. And the fact that they pay such nice fat dividends right now makes them the perfect energy income play to help navigate today's dicey markets. Which is why I'd like to send you another bonus report today called Energy and Income, 6 New Dividend Stocks for 2022. It contains 6 income plays. All of them are either involved in this $130 trillion energy transition or they're making it possible. So they're going to be paying out income for years. You'll get this report free the moment you try out the distortion report. And I have one more critical wealth building report to send you. But let me warn you, it actually could make your blood boil because you see there's another group of insiders that are taking massive advantage of the great distortion. And they're making a lot of money from the information that you don't know about. And I'm talking about politicians. Now, I spend a lot of time inside the Beltway, and I can tell you from my experience, politicians are privy to a lot of information that is just not available to the public. And they use this information to pass new laws, and as unfair as this may sound, to enrich themselves in the process. For example, the husband of one of the most powerful women in Washington, Nancy Pelosi, who is the Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, he recently purchased up to $5 million in stock of a top semiconductor manufacturing company just days ahead of a Senate vote that would boost U.S. chip manufacturing to the tune of $52 billion. In the days after that news broke, the stock soared up by 14%. If you run the numbers, what that means is that Nancy Pelosi's husband made up to $685,000 in just a few days, raising questions about if he's using inside information that you and I just don't have access to. It's outrageous. While millions of Americans are watching some of their retirement dreams go up in smoke during the worst stock market crash in a generation, and millions more are just drowning under the weight of inflation, powerful politicians like Nancy Pelosi are using their position and influence to get richer than ever. That's how the great distortion works. They decide where the money goes through the laws they make, and they profit from their own decisions. I just don't think that's fair. Which is why I want to send you another free report called the #1 political stock of the decade, cashing in on Biden's $1.2 trillion infrastructure law. It reveals the name and the ticker symbol of the most popular stock bought by members of our U.S. Senate in 2021. Since the beginning of 2021, its peak gains have outperformed those of Tesla, Apple, and Bitcoin. But my research shows that this stock is going to be a key player in Biden's $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure law. Senators are snapping up shares of this stock ahead of the rollout of this law, which is why I believe it's poised for even bigger explosive growth in the months and years ahead. To recap, here are the 3 new special reports that I've written to help you survive and thrive in the turbulent market that we're in. Liquid energy, the #1 stock for the $130 trillion energy revolution. You'll see why 5 billionaires are investing in this tiny $4 company that could derail Tesla and also make investors a huge return during this historic $130 trillion energy transition. Plus, you'll get Energy and Income, 6 New Dividend Stocks for 2022, and the #1 political stock of the decade, cashing in on Biden's $1.2 trillion infrastructure law. Everything is yours for free the moment you join Distortion Report. In a moment, you'll see a Subscribe Now button pop up. Click that, and you'll be taken to a page with the full details of this offer, and you can review everything. And when you're ready, just click the button to become a member of Distortion Report and receive all of our free reports. And then going forward, I'm going to be with you every step of the way. With your subscription, you'll get a lot more than free special reports. You'll also get 12 months of the best investment ideas that I have. Every month, you'll get a brand new issue of Distortion Report with easy-to-read insights on the biggest investment trends of the day. And you're never going to be guessing what to buy, how much to pay for a stock, or when to sell. I'm going to be with you every step of the way, not just every month, but by sending special updates whenever the market dictates to sell or to take advantage of another special opportunity. I'm with you all the way. You'll also get 24/7 access to our private Distortion Report website. And this contains years of special reports, monthly issues, and investment insights. And if you ever have any questions, just reach out to our customer service team available to you Monday through Friday. Now, they can't give you personalized investment advice, but if you have any other issues, they will be happy to help. Just give them a call. You'll get all of this today just for giving Distortion Report a risk-free try. And look, I know times are tight, and that is why I went to my publisher to get you a special deal today. The normal price for Distortion Report is $199 per year. But because of everything going on in the world and the market right now, you're going to get a huge discount of $150 off. That means today you can gain access for 1 full year for just $49. And that works out to just over $4 a month. This discount is not available anywhere else. And you're not tied into any commitment. You can get everything today and decide later if it's right for you. I'm going to give you 60 days to test out the service at no risk. It's a total satisfaction guarantee. So if you are not 100% satisfied with the Distortion Report, just cancel in the first 60 days and you will get a full refund on your subscription, no questions asked. You even get to keep everything you received as a subscriber at no charge. That's right, keep all the issues, keep all the special reports, keep everything. It is my gift to you. That means there's no risk to you at all for this offer. But I am confident that you're going to want to stick around for the months ahead. Because like I showed you here today, many of the companies involved in the $130 trillion energy transition are not falling victim to our current market. They're thriving. SQM is up over 122%. Sigma Lithium jumped 74%. Allegheny Technologies popped 73%. Daguo New Energy Corp is up 83%. Philo Mining popped 117%. And Turquoise Hills is up 88%. All of these gains happened this year during one of the worst stock market meltdowns in history. And as you can see from these gains, there is one part of the market that's bucking the downward trend. So you can sit this market out and guarantee that inflation is going to eat away at your wealth. Or you can buy at the bottom when the most wealth is made. That decision is yours. Just know the world's richest investors are not sitting on the sidelines. They know a buying opportunity when they see it. Whatever you do, I can't promise this tiny $4 company behind liquid energy may ever trade this low again. Thank you so much for watching. For instant access to all my research, please just click the button below to get started right now.